Hey, YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the Extraordinary Flora stamp set bundle from Stampin' Up. So this is one of the new bundles that Stampin' Up has in the annual catalog, and it's one of those that's kind of hidden a little bit. I don't know, it's only on like 1 or 2 pages in the catalog, so it's not really well showcased in there. So I thought I'd show you a quick card that I made with it, that I was happy with the way it turned out. I love the little floral die cuts on it. So again, this card we're going to be making, and I did use the Extraordinary Flora stamp set bundle. I used both the stamps and the dies on it, as well as the washi tape, and then used a couple other things here too. So, but yeah, just going to make a quick anniversary card. It shouldn't take us too long, and I'll show you why in a minute, but this die basically cuts all of those floral images out in one swing through the die cutting machine. So it's pretty speedy and quick to use. So this is the Extraordinary Flora stamp set. And it's got some nice little sentiments in it, which I will honestly say when I looked at it in the catalog, I kind of didn't even pay attention that it had sentiments with it. All I saw was the pretty flowers, the dies, the washi tape, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'll pick that up. And then I realized once I got it, I'm like, oh, it's got some sentiments in it, so that's pretty cool too. So if you are like me and did not notice those, you will see them in the stamp set. And then there's kind of a little kind of dashed line look that I used on the background of my banner on the card front as well. So, hey, Sandra and Kathy and Judy and Christine, everybody, thanks for hopping in today. I appreciate you being here. This is the Extraordinary Flora die set, and oh, I see Karen and Joanne are here as well. And this awesome die actually will cut out this stamped image in the stamp set, so you stamp it. Basically, it's one big. Here, let me show you. It's a little narrow of a background size stamp, but it's pretty close to a background size. This is that great big block that Stampin' Up has. Which block is this? The F block. So it's the big gigantic one that you normally use for background stamps, and this image covers most of it. And then this die actually cuts out this stamped image as well as the images in this cool washi tape. And I'll show you again how this works as we get into the card making here. So, all right. Set aside a couple things here. So I see Sunshine is here, and Amanda and Debbie. Oh, you got the set and we're playing with it yesterday. And Marilyn, thanks for hopping in too. It's pretty fun. So, like I said, I love that you can die cut the washi tape. I'll explain a couple things about it as we go along, but yeah, a couple other things that I did use here. I used the party banners dies. This is an enormous set of banner dies, and these little pieces down here, I don't know, I'm sure that those of you who make banners probably aren't confused. It took me a minute to kind of figure out what was going on. So this is the banner, and then basically when you die cut it, if you want to make a banner that you can string together on the corners, you can line up these little die cut circles here essentially up in the corners, and then you've got your die cut circles all lined up on your banners with each of the die cuts that you make. And then these they're just little reinforcer dies, so you can put them right around the circle die. So that's what this die says is designed for. I, of course, didn't make a banner with it. I just used it to make a card front because I thought it was cool. So, all right. Hey, Gail and Carol and Roxanne, thanks for joining today. So again, this is called Party Banners Dies, and it is in the current annual catalog as well. All right. Let me get all this mess out of the way. And then one other thing that I did use on this card front, the sentiment came from the Layers of Beauty stamp set. And this is a beautiful stamp set too, floral images, and is one of those that has got not blending brushes, masks, the decorative masks or stencils that go with it, so you can stencil these images or color them or just stamp them or whatever you want to do with it. So this is another one of those really pretty stamp sets that is in the annual catalog. So hey, Danette and Daryl and Sally, thanks for hopping in. All right. Couple of things before we get on to the card making. Hey, Jackie, the starter kit special is going to be ending very soon. It's only about another week or so that Stampin' Up! Has this going on. It is a great deal. If you have been considering joining, now is a great time to do it. We've had several people take advantage of it on our team, and it's a really good deal. Normally, the starter kit is $99, and you get to pick $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise of your choice, which is a great deal in and of itself. But for the month of May, from the 6th to the 31st, if you join as a demonstrator, you actually get to pick $165 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise of your choice, and the kit will ship for free. You're going to get a box of catalogs, you're going to get a paper pumpkin kit along with that, and then once you join, any order that you place as a demonstrator, you get at least a 20% discount on. So, discount, more free product. It doesn't get any better than that. So it's a great deal. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'd happy to have you come and join our little team. And again, once you join, you get a discount of at least 20% on any Stampin' Up! Products that you purchase as a demonstrator. You can join any of the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator only events, and you also get to pre-order from all the awesome upcoming products about a month before any customer gets to do that. So it is a great deal. Again, let me know if you have questions. The general details are posted on my blog, which is stampwithamy.com. Otherwise, drop me an email. I'd be happy to chat with you about it. And then online exclusives, I just want to remind you every time I talk to you to make sure that you're checking the online exclusives to find those. They're online only, they're items that are only found in the Stampin' Up! Online store. They're not tied to any catalogs, so they come and go. So anytime you're out shopping, just make sure you go to, it's just going to go to stampinup.com, and then you're going to click on the little menu button in the upper left, and then you're going to go to online exclusives. So find that tab in there. They're all out there, and like I said, there's pages and pages of stuff, like 10 pages of awesome things. That's just a very, very, very small sampling of what's currently available. So all right, with that, let's get going. Hey, Debbie, thanks for hopping in, and Pam as well. Thanks for joining. So again, we're using the Extraordinary Flora stamp set. This is that big old stamp that is kind of, like I said, it's almost background sized. It's a little narrower than a typical background stamp is, but it's pretty close. And I've got basic beige ink and a basic beige card base. So we're going to just ink up the image here with basic beige ink, running it right across here. And then I'm going to stamp it on my card front, hopefully get it on there fairly straight. And I'm trying to find, there's my score line. And kind of right up to the score line. I'm going to try not to go over the score line, but that's all good. So, hey, Penny, thanks for joining. All right, so we got the first one stamped, and then we're just going to ink it again and stamp it a second time down towards the bottom of the panel. And again, basic beige ink is what I'm using. Close that up before I end up with that all over my fingers. And again, just kind of generally lining it up. It doesn't need to be perfect because you're stamping it over the entire card front twice, so you can kind of, if you have anything get a little crooked or whatever, that all will straighten itself out kind of as you get it stamped. So that's it for the card front so far. Pretty easy. All right, then I have got linen thread, and we're just going to wrap it around the card base twice, and we're going to tie a little bow if I can get the thread to stay where I want it to stay. So wrapping it around twice, giving myself a little extra, snipping it off, and try not to throw things around like I have been doing here. So, all right, just tying this over. Well, I'm going to try to scoot it over as close as I can get it without having it fall off the card to the left-hand side. So, all right, going to tie a little knot to start with, and that'll hold everything in place while I try to get it situated where I want it to be. Make sure that it's slid over as far as I can get it. There we go. Give that a good tug and make sure it's tight. And then we're just going to tie up the little bow here, I think. Ugh, come on, fingers. I'm blaming it on the cold weather. It has been freezing here in New Jersey. Last night or yesterday, I think the high was only 49 degrees and it was raining, so it was miserable. It's a little warmer today. I think we're supposed to get up to the low 60s today, but it's been cold and rainy and just kind of generally yucky outside for the last couple of days. I think it's supposed to be a little warmer this weekend and maybe get rid of some of the rain, but overall, it's not supposed to be like summer weekend, which I thought this was like the official kickoff of summer. So what in the world? Anyway, all right, finally got that bow tied. So, all right, that's it for the kind of the basic card front. Oh, and I guess I should have told you cardstock cuts on this one. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2 across the middle. If you want to add the piece of linen thread around the card front like I've done, you will need to have it be the top fold card. If you don't care about that, or if you want to wrap the twine around it this way, you can use your standard book fold card. You'll just need to change up the design of things a little bit, but whatever works for you, or leave it off if you don't love it. So it has been kind of yucky here this year. I don't know. I'm telling you, like I said, it's just, it got warm. So like I was sending my daughter to school in shorts and a t-shirt, and then all of a sudden we're back to long sleeves and long shirt or long pants and jackets and everything. Yuck. So, all right, I did die cut this ahead of time, and I think I'm going to pull the right die. Yep, this die off. And it's like kind of almost right in the middle of the pack. It's 8th down from the top or 7th up from the inside. So you can kind of, if you want to figure that out, or you can just grab them. It is the die that measures about 3¼ inches wide by 4¼ inches long. So that might be easier. So 3¼ by about 4¼ inches for the banner die. And again, these are called the Party Banners dies. All right. And again, die cut that from basic white cardstock. And we're going to go ahead and put our sentiment on there first. Since we're heat embossing, I usually try to do that stamping first, just so that it minimizes the amount of extra embossing powder that may stick anywhere where we don't want it to stick. So, all right, Versamark ink, and again, my sentiment from the Layers of Beauty stamp set. And I'm just going to kind of generally stamp it, hopefully fairly straight, although I guess it doesn't really matter, kind of to the lower right. And that's really the only placement I wanted on it, just because I wanted to put most of the die cuts up on this side and a few down around here. So exact placement doesn't really matter. All right, and let's grab the gold embossing powder. Again, this is from the Metallics Wow embossing powders set. It's a set of 3 embossing powders. There's silver, copper, and gold in it. So it's pretty awesome to get all of them at once. Although I don't always love it when I just need to get one of them replaced, and oh well, got to buy a little bit more of each one. Eventually I use them all up. So, all right, closing that up before I turn on the heat tool here. So Stampin' Up's heat tool has 2 settings on it. There's a level 1 setting for drying and a level 2 setting for heat embossing. So I've turned it up to the level 2 setting. If you want to use the level 1 setting, it works great if you are doing something like watercoloring and want to speed up the drying a little bit, or just have an ink that takes a little longer to dry. You can zap it with the heat tool, and it'll dry it pretty quickly. Or you can use the level 2 setting like I'm doing here for heat embossing. It does get a bit hotter with the level 2 setting, but both settings are hot, so you don't want to put your fingers in either one of them. All right, just giving it, there we go. It's, as you can see, heat embossing. When you get that kind of smooth, shiny look to it, then you know it's done heat embossing. You don't want to overheat it because it gets kind of dull and brown and not very pretty if you do that. So just make sure you kind of keep the heat embossing moving if you are going to heat emboss something. So there we go. Got kind of the pretty little shiny sentiment on it. The next thing that I did was I grabbed the basic beige ink again, and this kind of dotted lined image from the Extraordinary Flora stamp set. And I just took it and sort of randomly stamped off once basic beige ink across this little die cut. So inking it up basic beige, stamping it on scrap paper, and then we're just going to kind of randomly stamp it around the sentiment. And again, if you don't love the look of this, you don't have to do this stamping. I just thought it needed a little something extra on it. Whoop, I see I've got a little extra ink here on the top of my block that I just put up there. So we may have to sort of creatively try to stamp one of the lines over the top of it and see if I can do it. We'll see. I'm trying to decide where we'll try that. It's not perfect, but it covers it a little bit. It makes it look like I intentionally put the goober on the top of it. I got a little extra ink up there. I probably should have used a smaller block with this, but all good. So it's done. All right. We're going to go ahead and grab the card base back again, and I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my die cut here. And again, just kind of putting them around the edges here. I'm going to try to avoid this very center section so that hopefully I won't stick it over the top of the twine and end up with kind of a weird bump in my die cut. But if I do, I can always cut and redo the dimensionals. But I think I've got it placed so that it'll be all right. Okay, going to take this and slide it in here under my bow, and again, roughly centering it on the card front, top to bottom, side to side, and try to put it on straight, which is always the goal. It doesn't always happen. All right, so that's again, just the basics of the card front. The next thing I'm going to do is get my washi tape ready for the die cutting process. And I started, there are a couple different ways that you can do this. Of course, I'm sorry, my nose is dripping. Hold on. All right, a couple different ways that you can do this. If you wanted to have kind of a clear background on it, I wouldn't recommend sticking it directly to your cutting plates, because if your cutting plates look anything like mine, they're all full of gunk. And washi tape will pick up some of that gunk, and so it's not going to look very pretty. But if you wanted to not have cardstock as the background of it and you still wanted to die cut them, you can take window sheets, or even like the plastic backing that comes with the photopolymer stamps, and stick this to that plastic backing, and then die cut it with the plastic on it, and then you can peel the stickers off and basically turn it into stickers with no backing on it. So that's one way to use the washi tape. That's not what I did, but just wanted to give you a couple of options for using this. What I did was I actually peeled it and stuck it to a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's pretty close to the right size to be able to get this in one pass through the die cutting machine, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pull off a bunch of it here. And whoops, I got a goober on my basic white cardstock already. And we're just going to stick it down here kind of carefully, trying to minimize the creases in it, but a bone folder rubbed over it really well, I did discover, works nicely if you get any creases in it that you don't want. All right, so I've got it stuck up here to the top, so hopefully you can see here, this is the top of my cardstock, so I'm just going to take my scissors and do a little snipping here of this. And then the next time I pull this out, it's basically going to be set to do the next batch of flowers, and should start kind of at the bottom of the die, and then if I cut it and put it on a 5 1/2 inch piece of paper, then it should be the perfect thing for the next die cut, the next batch of flowers. And I don't know if you noticed this on here, but the colors slightly change depending on which section of the tape you're using. So right now, this is kind of the purple flowers, but there are pink flowers that it goes every other set. So one set is purple and one set is pink, which I found to be kind of a nice little, if you want to change up the colors a little bit, it's always nice to be able to do that. So, all right, I am going to take my bone folder and just do a couple quick slides along it, just to make sure that all the little creases are out, there aren't any air bubbles in it, and that it's stuck down really well to the cardstock, because the last thing I want is to get everything all done and then have it all peel apart after I put my card together. So that just kind of ensures that it's stuck down to the cardstock well. My very first time making this, I did get everything put on a little crooked, because, that is who I am. I do stuff crooked. So I did find that the tape, as long as you haven't really smushed it down well, is repositionable. So you can peel it back up and put it down. So if you need to do that a couple times to get it to lay down flat or whatever, that worked well. But like I said, to me, it was pretty easy just to kind of unroll it and peel it, stick it down on my paper, cut it off, and then smash it down flat, and that worked well for me. So, all right, let's grab the die. Again, this is the Extraordinary Flora die, and you will find that it fits perfectly right over the top of the pretty little images here on the washi tape. So like I said, you can either stamp it if you want to stamp and color your own images, or stamp and heat emboss, or whatever you want to do. It will cut the stamped image, but it also cuts the washi tape, which is pretty cool, I think. So, all right, let me go run this through the die cutting machine, and I'll bring my little stack of die cuts back. There'll be a whole bunch of little ones, and then we'll start arranging them on the card front. All right. So there we go. Hey, Julie, thanks for joining. So when you're doing the die cutting with this die, you are going to want to make sure that you either use a magnetic plate, or that you use a little bit of Post-it note tape or something to hold it in place as you run it through your die cutting machine, just because I think, in my personal opinion, again, that's my personal opinion, the washi tape just makes it a little bit slippery, if that makes sense. The cardstock is a little bit slick. So if you put it through without having something to hold it there, it may slide a little bit. So I don't want you to be disappointed about that. So get out your Post-it note tape, or, you know, whatever, your painter's tape or your magnetic plate, whatever you're going to use to hold the die in place, and you'll run it through without any issues. All right. Stop yakking, get to creating. All right. So let's get all these off my cutting plate. And like I said, my cutting plates always look horrible. So if I stuck the washi tape directly to this, if you see all the gunk and stuff that's on there, I don't know if you can see it on my fingers, but that all would be stuck to the back of the washi tape, which is not the look that I would like. So if I do any of the die cutting with the washi tape where I want the clear backgrounds on it, I will actually be putting either a window sheet or the little sheets of plastic from the stamp sets, so that, so that I can peel it off and make them into stickers rather than having to be stuck full of the gunk from my plate. So, all right. Let me grab my card front here, and now comes the fun part of just kind of arranging things on here. So I'm going to try to put it into a little bit piles because there are quite a few little die cuts here. So I'm going to try to do greenery in one spot, flowers in another, so I can hopefully sort of reconstruct what I've done. And there were actually 2 flowers that I didn't use. There were 2 of the little purple ones, but we'll see. I may change my mind and stack them all up on here anyway. So, all right. Okay, now I'm hacking, nose running. I'm telling you, it must be spring here. So, all right, gonna start with this kind of taller greenery piece, and we're just gonna take that, stick it up here near the top. Then we've got this greenery piece, and as you'll note, when I first laid this out, I kind of layered everything together without sticking it down until I kind of got the layout that I wanted. But now that I've pretty well got the layout figured out, I'm just now sort of reconstructing what I've got here on my card already. So it's a little easier for me this time, but certainly if you want to lay them out, I would take some time and do that before you stick everything down and then you're like, oh, that didn't turn out quite how I wanted it. So, all right, now we've got this little die cut here with the flowers on it. We're gonna sort of tuck that in at an angle. Got another piece of the greenery, and we're going to slide that one in over the top of my other little piece of greenery over here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take this. This is what I like about glue dots. You can rearrange them a little. So I'm going to slide that one over just a hair. I want to make sure the pretty flowers show on that one. All right. Next up, we're going to take this one, which is one of the bigger die cuts on here, and we're going to slide that one over the top. Kind of gunk all over everything. See, like I said, my cutting plates are a mess, and they make a mess on everything. I think we'll kind of turn that one like that, smoosh it down. Then we've got this one, a little piece of greenery here. Going to take that one, and we'll slide it underneath the little die cuts over here. Smoosh it down. And then this, I'm trying to decide, is this the big, yeah, it's the bigger one I think I used there. Then we've got one more larger die cut here to slide in, and we'll be, well, I do have one of the flowers I'm going to put on there too. So I'm going to take this one, and we're just going to slide it in, get my bow out of the way first, slide this one in underneath, and then put my bow back on the top, smoosh that down, and then I will grab one of the larger purple flowers. So I could run my plates to the dishwasher if I was that ambitious, but they'd be all gummed up and gunked up, and I'd probably have them be a mess, or I'd forget them in there or whatever, but all good. But that is a good idea. I'm kind of generally a lazy stamper. I just throw them away and get a new one eventually. Once the one that I've originally used is all mangled up and trashed, then I don't know. I feel like I used this one, so maybe I didn't. I don't know. That may be one of my extra ones. I can't remember. So, all right. Oh, no, I did use that. It's just a different color. See? That one's more of the pink color. This one's more of the purple color. I'm like, where is that? So it's there. I just was not paying attention. So I'm going to grab the little greenery piece first. And I'm going to put this one right down here near the edge of my sentiment and get all the gunk off of it. And then gonna grab this one, which is the bigger floral die. See, Daryl, I'm telling you, this is why you just have to buy it all, and then you're never sad. That I've told you that. So you just have to do what I do and just buy everything, and then you never have anything to be sad about later that you didn't get it. But I think this one's really pretty, and actually, I'll be honest, Daryl, it took me a few times of seeing other people using it, and I'm like, oh, that is really pretty. That's what sold me on it too, is seeing somebody else put together a nice collage card. And the floral images are so pretty in it on the washi tape that I was sold to. So I wasn't initially, I got it and I'm like, it's okay. But I really like it now that I've played with it. So, all right, low profile dots are the embellishment that I've put on here. We're going to do a couple of the gold ones. And these are some of the online exclusives that I was yucking about earlier. So if you have an opportunity to go look in the online store, be sure to head out there and check out the online exclusives, because there are quite a few of them. And there are lots of pretty things out there that you don't want to miss out on. So just kind of sliding in a couple of the little gold embellishments. We'll get that out of the way. So that's it for the card front. So super quick and easy. I'm telling you, I didn't have to color a darn thing on it. All I had to do, stick it on some paper, die cut it, and it was done. So yeah, I think it's really pretty, and I definitely think you should get it. Daryl and Karen too. Well, and anybody else. So, and Jackie, yep, see? I'm glad I'm selling you a couple of you on it, especially after I heard that you could make them either into stickers or have the cardstock backing. I'm like, oh, now I really like this. So, all right. Strawberry Slush is the color of ink that we're going to use to stamp the sentiment on the inside, and this is from the Extraordinary Flora stamp set. Just going to take that, stamp it right up there, and close that up, because that ink will somehow make its way all over the place if I do not. And then we're just going to grab a couple of the little leftover die cuts and put them in the corner here, and that's going to be it for this card. So it's super, super quick and easy. Washi tape's not available yet for you guys, Amanda. Oh, that's a bummer. Hopefully it'll be in soon. It's pretty cool. I think you'll have fun using it once you get it. So again, glue dots is what I'm using to put these little flower pieces on here. And again, these are just the leftover flower die cuts that I cut when I was making the front of the card. So again, you can use as many or as few as you want to. There we go. Just kind of have them piled up down there. There are 2 extra ones that I really thought about trying to stick on the card somewhere, and then I'm like, just stop. I liked the way it looked, and then I'm like, if I put a couple more of these on here, then I'll probably be like, oh, that's too much, and then I can't, yeah. So I have 2 pretty flowers, well, actually 4 now that I've done this card twice, pretty flowers that I can use on another card. So just throw them in your embellishment drawer and pull them out whenever you need something a little pretty and florally, and these are purple, and purple, and then you'll be all set. So, all right, putting this on the inside of the card here. There we go. And then just going to close it up and do a quick crease on the card, on the fold in the middle to make sure it lays down flat. And that is it for the card. So super quick and easy, and definitely I highly recommend the Extraordinary Flora stamp set bundle. It's really pretty. You're going to love the washi tape once you can get a hold of it, Amanda. So hopefully you guys will have it soon. Are you in the UK, or I can't remember? I apologize. I know you mentioned where you were hopping in from, but hopefully you'll have it soon. It's available here in the US. So, put them on the flap of the envelope. Yeah, the only problem is I'm afraid they would pop off. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. We could try it. If I weren't lazy, maybe I would. So, all right. Thanks, everybody, for hopping in. Oh, in the Netherlands. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully you'll have them soon, because they're awesome. So, all right. So thanks, everybody, for hopping in. I appreciate you being here and kicking off your Memorial Day weekend with me. I will plan to be back around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday, and then again around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Friday. So till then, have a great week. Have a great weekend. We'll chat with y'all soon. Oh, and details will be posted on my blog tomorrow. I'll link directly to the blog post once it goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And so you'll have a direct link to the video or to the PDF tutorial and cardstock cuts and, all the details about the card out there. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will chat with you all soon.